Hello Internet, welcome back to our Cataclysm tutorial series. We are in the process of trying to raise our first aid skill for the purposes of... Well, why am I doing this? We want bionics is the main reason, and your first aid skill is significant in the impact it has on whether or not you receive bionics when you dissect corpses. It's, how are we doing weight-wise? We're a little overweight. Let's just eat some pumpkin to fill our stomach and wear our headgear and go to bed here because we are tired, and tired makes it harder to level your skills and things. Don't set an alarm. Yeah, because it has a pretty major malice to your focus, and your focus is very important for determining how well you learn things. So we're going to sleep, plus the added benefit is that oftentimes when your character wakes up, you're right around 100, sometimes even above 100 focus, which is really important for raising our skills. So this will help. We are trying to go from skill 4 to skill 6, so it is going to take the majority of this episode in order to do that, unfortunately. And I know that this is boring. Honestly, we're on episode 78 of the tutorial Let's Play, and it's been a long road. That's like 39 hours of my life has been spent doing this. There were a couple shorter episodes, but you know, on average, that's a lot of time to spend talking about Cataclysm, and it shows the depth of the game for sure, that there's so much. We were talking about it in Discord recently. It's not that it's like painfully complicated. Once you get the basics, you can kind of fumble your way through. Oh good, we're still getting this error? I thought this was fixed. So now we have to look at that until, okay, well, it went away. You know, it's not that there's a ton of complexity. You can learn the basics and then just fumble around and figure stuff out. It's just that there's so much like nuance to Cataclysm. There's so much little stuff that you don't necessarily need to know, but is helpful to know. Like, you don't need to know that you know, you require a high first aid to get better quality bionics. That's something you would figure out over time. As you notice, you got later in the game, you would start noticing that you're finding more during dissection and things like that. It's not like it's absolutely necessary for your enjoyment of the game. What it does do, however, is like, you know, what's the harm in me providing you with a basic rule of thumb and saying, okay, well, in general, you need a decent butcher tool, which we currently have the scalpel, which is one of the best. The only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that's better for dissecting is the CBM, the surgical scalpel CBM. And the other aspect is your first aid skill, and really until you get up around 4 or 5, you're not going to be finding very much dissection wise. I usually jump in groups of 3 because the books tend to work in 3 level increments. So usually I will jump from first aid 3 to first aid 6. So at first aid 6 is when I start to notice, okay, well now I'm getting a CBM basically on every corpse. Every now and then you won't. But for the most part, I'm getting at least 1, and then sometimes I'm getting 2. So first aid to 6 is significant. Let's eat. Man, I would really like to go hunting and find like meat so we could have proper meals. We're overweight. Let's just have a MRE because we can, and we brought them as our backup food. So we'll take some Mexican. What did it say? Mexican chicken stew. Sounds tasty. I had some beef barbecue for dinner, or that might be misleading. It was sloppy Joe, essentially, disassemble, and it was not very good. I don't eat a lot of meat because it affects my digestive tract, which is something we've discussed at length in my series, that I have some stomach issues, so I try not to eat a lot of meat because it messes with my digestion. Alright, so we ate a bunch of that, so probably 700 calories worth of stuff there. We're going to try to put ourselves in a better mood. Go ahead and have a hit of the screwdriver cocktail. Which, why is that indefinite? Isn't a screwdriver orange juice? You would think the orange juice would go bad in that. Anything else to raise our mood that's not like drugs? I'm not real keen on taking more drugs here. Joint. Well, we could smoke some weed. Drink. Weird that herbal tea doesn't increase your mood, or maybe it's just because we've been drinking it and it reduces your joy over time. Why is there no water? Okay, there we go. We're slaked and whatnot. Let's how are the batteries doing? Fully charged, so we don't need to turn the car on. Battery's fully charged. Great. Let's take off our ear protection, because we don't need to have that in our inventory. And we'll go back to reading. Oh, we dropped our book somewhere. We can just read in the car, is fine. We're looking for First Responder Handbook, and we're just going to read. Now, in our casual Let's Plays, I would spend this time. You can see our focus is tanking already. From 109 or whatever, we're dropping very rapidly. It's frustrating in this game that basically everything you do reduces your focus. I guess that is true in real life. I find that I'm sharpest right after basically I wake up every day. I spend 30 minutes trying to regain consciousness, and be coherent. And then I eat something, and as soon as I eat something, that's kind of when I wake up for the day and get focused. So, it kind of makes sense to me that the early part of the day is where you are most likely to be, at your sharpest. The problem is we woke up like a couple hours ago, we ate something, we drank something, and then all we've been doing is reading. And it's not like the reading makes us unhappy. You'll see it says focus trends towards 99. That's obviously not true. We've been consistently trending downwards. So it's that little stuff that kind of irks me, there's no explanation as to why we're trending down so quickly. It's not like we hate the book we're reading. Sometimes books have negative connotations where they negatively affect your morale and stuff, but this one does not. So there's really no reason for us to not be happy. Let's go ahead and we'll take a few shots of this wheat cereal just to put something in our belly. Have another shot of screwdriver cocktail, and then we're going to smoke a little weed. So we're smoking weed. We haven't smoked anything in this game. So when you smoke something, when you literally are smoking something, not when you smoke meat, when you're smoking a cigarette or joint or whatnot, what happens is that is a gradual effect. It's not something that is instantly completed like eating a piece of food. So when we imbibed this joint, which I did by using the E menu, which is the consume menu, but you're not actually eating it. What it did was light the joint because we have a fire starting source in our inventory, and now we are actively smoking. If we go to our at menu, you can see, oh, it's not here. I thought it would say lit up, which is what usually happens when you have a light on your person. But here we're getting a message, you take a puff. If we move around a little bit, you take a puff, you feel lightheaded, etc. So this is having an effect on us. It's just gradual. We're quite high on depressants, actually. Not high, but we're quite low on depressants, which is a little concerning, actually, because 23 is an enormous number. I guess between the alcohol and the weed, that might not be good for us. But let's go back to reading. That should help raise our focus maybe a little bit, up to 70, but probably not much more than that. Yeah, and it just is a little frustrating that you can go 4 hours and suddenly your focus is half what it used to be, even when the menu is telling you, hey, you're doing great, you're trending towards 150, and it's like, no, I'm at 80, and it's obviously not moving in that direction. So it gets a little annoying. I think we did. Oh, there's a turret somewhere that detected an enemy. That's interesting. Ignore. Oh god, it scared the crap out of me because it was literally right below us, and it was extremely loud because I had my sound turned way up. So that's great. For you, that was probably very quiet. But for me, not so much. Yeah, so this has taken almost the entire day just to get from 4 to 5. It's frustrating. And to add to that frustration, I actually recorded this episode before, and then Windows crashed on me, and I lost the footage. So, not exciting. You'll see the percentages have dropped as well. Initially, when we started reading, we were getting around 5% per tick, and now we're getting 2-3% per tick. And that, again, is product of our focus, which we've already done. I mean, outside of, we should have put on our earbuds. But outside of that, there's really nothing we can do at this point to raise it any higher than we've had it raised, Okay, we're not under the influence of anything. Have some root beer. I really don't want to take drugs, so I think we'll just eat a banana and eat some watermelon. Why not? We'll put us in a decent mood. I need the MP3 player. We should have put that on immediately. That would have helped throughout the day to curb the rate at which we were losing focus, but yeah. This is going to take a long time. You'll see the sun is going down, unfortunately. Go ahead and stop. Dim light is not good for reading. You really want to be in an area where there's actual light. So let's turn on the aisle lights and continue reading. Our whole day has been wasted. And normally in our casual Let's Play, I would spend this time giving commentary about my life, talking about what's going on with me. For the tutorial series, doesn't feel appropriate to do that. It feels like, I should keep things on the tutorial side of things, talk about the game, talk about stuff like that. But ultimately, there's been a lot of slowdown in the series at this point. I'm not enjoying this the way I was when I started recording, because we've made a lot of progress. We've talked about the majority of the main, like I said, you don't need to know every single little nuance. We've talked about the basics. Within the first 20 episodes, we covered the majority of stuff that was really important. And now it's more like kind of the slow slide into boredom, because Cataclysm, once you get to a certain point in the game, is real boring when you kind of run out of stuff. I mean, there's always stuff to do, but for me personally, there are certain things that interest me and certain things that don't. Like, some people spend weeks just building the most enormous vehicle you could possibly comprehend, and making it a boat and making it, all these additional features. I don't really find that very interesting. I get pretty bored. It's very tedious to do that. And so usually, we're on episode 78. Usually by now in my casual Let's Plays, I'd be like, okay, look, it's kind of getting to the point where we need to move on. We need to start a different series because I'm getting bored. And you can't really do that in a tutorial series. We're just going to keep reading. I don't know if we're going to go to level 6, because I do think it would take a full episode to get there. And I'm really getting bored just sitting here. Well, we've talked about the big stuff, Definitely I've had my content slow down as well. Today is Sunday, I don't know, 20-something of April. And this video is going to go up on the channel tomorrow because I am out of footage. So it's like I can tell my interest is flagging because I'm not recording as much as I used to, because I'm bored, honestly. I'm getting a little bored. So let's put on the headgear again and let's go back to sleep. And you'll see, reading passes time kind of significantly, which, we talked about it a little bit. We're kind of under the gun, so to speak, about monster evolutions. They are constantly upgrading at this point. We talked about monster evolutions. Basically, the fastest zombies will start upgrading at like day 8 of your game, unless you have a advanced start or you change your world settings. So generally around day 8, the fast guys are going to start evolving. That would be the headless, what are they called? The headless zombies are going to be the first ones, because I know they're really short. I think the feral runners are also some that upgrade very quickly. And then we're on day, we started on day 61. We're on day 20. The majority of evolutions don't start until day 28. Did we start on day 60? Is that when we start the game? I actually don't remember. But 28 is generally the gold standard. And what that means is that by day 28, about half of what you're seeing is going to start upgrading pretty regularly. And then every time, as we progress further and further, the more and more upgrades we will see. Bigger, scarier things take longer to upgrade. Most of the innocuous, not so scary stuff starts upgrading pretty quickly. So the longer we spend doing this kind of stuff, the more our enemies are getting better. And by spending time reading, we're not actually increasing the value of our character. We're raising a first aid skill, not exactly a combat ability, On the plus side, at this point of the game, we have a 223 rifle with a crap ton of, probably 200 pounds of ammunition. We're good. It's not that we need any, getting better offensive weapons is not really something we're going to be doing anytime in the near future. And upgrading our armor is something we could do. But with guns, generally, the hope is that you don't have to get into combat, so you don't have to worry about getting hit. So what does it matter? If you're using a gun and you're staying away from your enemy, you getting shot or you getting beat up is unlikely. So upgrading armor is not an absolute necessity. We've talked about this a little bit. If we were to upgrade our armor, we would be going for the chitin armor, which would require tailoring 5, I think, for the chitin armors. We have chitin and everything back at base. We would be able to make it no problem. It's just a question of, I think it requires tailoring 4 or 5, and then the actual armor, one of the pieces I believe is in a book that we don't have. So we wouldn't be able to get full armor, but it would be something. And we already have this crazy bonkers torso coverage anyway, or protection anyway. So it's not like we're in super danger there. How's our equipment holding up? Perfect condition. Yeah, I guess we haven't exactly been getting beaten up. Again, that's a shift that comes with us upgrading to the gun, essentially, is that we're not going to be taking hits the way we were in melee. Let's go back to reading. I guess we'll just commit and we'll do it. So just this simple act of raising our first aid to 2 levels has been over a full day's worth of commitment. And it's, okay, it's going to be right underneath you. Don't spook when it happens. Okay, it's fine. I did turn my sound down, so. So, I mean, we're in a position where, I don't know, I'm getting a little bored, you know. And when I'm bored, I have a hard time forcing myself to do stuff. Part of it is because we're exploring the lab. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Did not turn on my music again, which is great. So our focus tanked immediately. Oh, God, it's annoying. What are you going to do? Like, I'm running out of stuff to talk about, you know. And I think part of it is the lab. And part of it is just, we talked about the majority of important stuff. There's tips, always there's tips to be given and stuff, but like to make an entire episode devoted to a particular topic is becoming harder and harder. So I thought like we might deviate from the lab and just show you some basic stuff, but like they wouldn't be super long episodes. Here's another day that has been burned just reading books. Oh, okay. Let's flip on the old aisle light, get ourselves something to eat and drink. How are we doing calorie-wise? That's the wrong button. We're still overweight. Just keep eating watermelon, I guess. Which is, because we've been eating it so much, is no longer giving us a morale boost from eating it. Go ahead and take a shot of maple syrup for the mood boost. It's so minuscule, but go ahead and chew some gum, I guess. I really don't know. We're kind of out of things that boost our mood. Have a little hit of lemonade. Focus is around 70, which is fine. That's primarily the earbuds working for us, which I should have, again, remembered to put on immediately. But so this will probably take us into tomorrow morning, but we'll have leveled up to level 6, which is important, again, for dissecting. So I was thinking we might pull away and do like singular episodes. Like I wanted to talk about boats in an episode. You know, that could probably take up a whole episode. I'm not 100% on the real important stuff, you know, but mostly it's pretty straightforward. But I thought we would do an episode on boats. I just don't think it'd be like a full episode. It might be like 10 or 15 minutes. And I feel bad putting up Cataclysm content. It's only 10 or 15 minutes because that's like the main thing people come to the channel for, you know. Go ahead and drop the MP3 and the First Responder Handbook. Also the roach. Yeah, when we finished the joint, we got a roach. Let's eat something, and we'll head in to crack that barracks, I guess. Go ahead and give me the jackhammer. Go ahead and shut off the light. Are we good everywhere else? I think we're good with everything else. Yeah, we're good. We'll head in here, crack the barracks, see if we can get some CBMs out of somebody. Would be great. So we could start stockpiling CBMs so we can do autoclave stuff. We go up here and down the stairs. I also thought I would make an episode. Someone pointed out to me about Group Bash, which is something I forgot about. I forgot existed. Where's the barracks? Ah, yes. So the other thing is that it's been several days of us reading. And over time, we will forget tiles. Like you can see, we can remember what was up here. over time, this will fade away to nothing. Like, we've been over here for several weeks. If we head back to base, we're not going to remember the tiles between here and base. And we don't even remember what the base looks like. If I panned all the way over here, we would not be able to see what the base looks like. In fact, well, I'm not going to illustrate that, I guess. Well, we can pop up and show you. So if I scroll, oh no, because we're in the lab. Never mind. No, I can't. Maybe I'll remember next time we go up. Anyway, yeah, I thought I would make an episode about, like, someone reminded me of Group Bash, which I had forgotten about, so I thought we could talk about that. Talk about kind of enemies pushing each other, which was a relatively new feature. And Northwest, you hear Wump. Yeah, that reinforces that there's a zombie in there. Let's wield, I mean, the spear. How much bash? I don't want to bash with my gun, because I don't want to risk damaging my gun. So let's kill that so we're not light blind. We're hearing quite a bit in there. It seems like there's at least 2 zombies in there, because we're hearing over on this side and we were hearing on this side. Usually it's a little bit more focused for one enemy. Whack, footsteps, whack, footsteps. They're just smashing the furniture. Now, because there are enemies in here, instead of going through the door, if we go through the door, it will immediately open this tile and something can walk right through. If we go through the wall, it will actually leave the rebar cage behind. So we can shoot through the rebar cage, but enemies can't walk through it. So they would have to smash it down, which they can do, depending on the enemy. But, like, it would buy us a few, a moment where we could shoot them and possibly kill one before. Yeah, hearing all of them at once is concerning. There might actually just be a horde of soldier zombies. But we're going to pickaxe through here. Ignore. Try not to get ourselves killed. Would be real dumb if we got ourselves killed. Should have saved after we finished reading, so we don't have to go through all that again. Okay. We finished drilling. We don't see anything. There's a soldier zombie. Looks like he is smashing this, because here it knocked a chunk of rebar loose. So let's immediately start. Oh, okay, I am wielding the SIG. I was going to say, oh no, I didn't wield the SIG. So let's shoot him. We should be able to shoot through this. And we were. It's not auto-targeting him, which is a little annoying, but that's not a big deal. You'll see he's yet to smash through here. So we do have a chance to kill at least one before. Let's get that all the way to a critical before they would be able to smash. We're still hearing things to our east. That could be us hearing this guy, or it could be yet another zombie, which would be fine. Again, they're not super scary. They're obviously not coming through the wall very well here. Please stop. Please stop. Okay. Critical. Again, as long as we get criticals, we're going to be able to circumvent their armor. You'll see we're hitting them for 40, 41. If we had a lower caliber gun, or our gun was damaged, or we weren't getting criticals, this would be more like, honestly, if we were using a pistol, let's say a 9mm pistol, we would be getting like 5-6 points of damage, just due to their armor and our inability to effectively use a pistol. So it looks like this was just a horde of soldier zombies, which is actually disappointing. I know you might think, oh, well, that's good, right? It's just weaker enemies, whatever. We were actually hoping for some of the special forces soldier zombies, which gives CBMs. These standard soldiers do not. So that is disappointing, because the whole point of raising our skill in first aid was the hopes of getting some CBMs from these guys. It's not a super big deal. We are still going to obviously get access to the barracks, which is itself has an inherent value. So let's what's the bash on a rebar? 12. Yeah, pick up the rebar, wield the rebar, and we'll smash through the cage. Oh yes, we're going to need. Was there a turret in here? This is how you get yourself killed. You don't remember where the turret is. So yep, turret in there. Dissector shouldn't have a turret in it, so we'll peek. Plus we left the door open. And I do often leave doors open if I think, like, if there's nothing dangerous, I'll leave the doors open. But you forget, it's been about a week since I really recorded. So Did not remember there was a turret there, but this is a room that almost always contains a turret. It'll be a turret and then this, what you call it? Terminal. Okay, so let's come to the pit. We'll E the pit, which will prompt us to place the plank over the pit, and we'll use the one on our person. Oh, I guess, even though we can't see it, there's broken furniture over here. Or over here. So when we tried to examine the pit, it actually gave us the option to use the planks that were nearby, even though they're out of sight of us. Because you'll see there's no planks here, but we did get the option to use the plank. We're going to go back to the SIG, in case some of them got stuck in the rooms. And we're going to leave the flashlight on for peeking. Again, there really is not turrets that will spawn in this area. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be careful. So we're going to be careful. Okay. And I'm guessing there's no other enemies. We would have heard them by now. That's just the door opening that we heard there. Okay. So let's flick this off. We'll check the, the lockers and stuff. Blunt weapon manual is fine. A fully repaired vest, which, if we didn't have one, would be nice. But at this point, we've explored other barracks and things as well. So it's not like we've never seen this stuff before. What I'm looking for here are guns and books, really. Sometimes there will be sidearms in these, as well as various training books, which have varying levels of value. Like Tactical Handgun Digest. Not a big fan of handguns, but you might as well take the book. Not finding any sidearms at all. Like I said, this used to be a very reliable place to find the L whatever sidearms, which use the same ammunition as the caseless rifle, which was my old favorite gun. Still is probably my favorite gun, the battle rifle, caseless battle rifle. It's just that the 5.56 or the 223 ammunition and stuff is so plentiful that it's just more sensible to use that instead. Anyway, we can smash these soldiers since they're not the kind we want to mess with. Dissection-wise, we'll grab their MREs, is really the only thing I want off of them. We'll take their 223 ammo as well. We'll take the MREs. That's really all I want. I mean, we're in a barracks, so even if we wanted these items, we could just find them in the other rooms. What I will say is that the gas masks, you can take the filters out of them, which then can be used for your gas masks. No, I don't want the mask. I wanted the filters. Weird that it puts the mask in my inventory but drops the filter. Anyway, yeah, it's a cartridge you can put in your gas mask. I don't wear gas masks in this game because they reduce your vision radius and also just aren't that practical. And they give encumbrance and stuff on your face and whatnot. So I don't usually use them. So let's unload their guns. Not that we need the 223 ammunition, but 30 round mag is pretty good. Oh no, it's not. That's the one we have. Yeah, I was thinking that was the drum mag, but no, that's from a mod. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Because the one we have in our gun is a 30 round clip. On the plus side, that does give us more clips, which we didn't have. I don't think we had, which gives us the option. No, see, it's putting these in my inventory. Whenever I unload something, it's picking up the item I'm unloading, but dropping the no, it's picking up the item I'm unloading from, but dropping the item I'm unloading. That's definitely annoying, and it definitely didn't used to be that way. But anyway, the benefit of this is that we can now carry an extra clip in our inventory pretty easily. So like I don't really need these, I don't need all these clips, but what we can do is, go in our inventory, reload this. You don't have any 5.56 NATO. Why not? I just unloaded because it dropped, right? It dropped the bullets. Yeah, it's dropping. Okay, just reload the clip. Now we have an extra 30 round clip in our inventory that we can swap very easily into our gun if necessary. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna pickaxe into the corner here for preparation of going into the armory. Again, it's gonna depend a lot on the lighting in here. It looks dark, which is good news. Go ahead and give me Shouldn't smash with your gun, dummy. We just talked about this. Give me... Oh, I still have the rebar. Wield the rebar. Smash the cage. Don't run out of stamina. Don't run out of stam. Go ahead and plank the pit. Okay. Activate flashlight. Let's get a look in here. Always a good sign when your first episode of the day, your throat feels raw and you feel like you can't do anything. So we're safe to pop up here. Peek. There is a turret. There does not appear to be a light in here. We've already established we can't really deal with the turrets if we can't see them, if they're not lit up. So let's turn off the flashlight, wait to get rid of the flashlight effect, and peek. Yeah, so they can't see us. So what we can do, we're going to save, because God help me if we get killed by a turret for no good reason. And what we can do, even though we can't kill the turret, is just avoid it and loot everything. Don't really care about that. Do not care about that. The 40mm caseless is for the battle rifle. I will take those for nostalgia. And we should be able to peek up here, no problem. 9mm is garbage. It's not garbage, I just don't like it. I believe we cannot step. I believe it was here or here. We cannot safely step here, I don't think. Actually, right here we can. But I would not go one to the north, because I believe that would put us right at the brink of its vision, and I'm afraid that we would walk into it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We should be able to safely go through here and just loot drum mags for the 8x40mm caseless. Highly valuable, because it basically ensures that you never have to reload your gun ever. I like them. Some people don't like them, because when you, I believe they add to the volume of your gun, which makes the gun much bigger. But when you're carrying it in your hands, that's not really a big deal. A minigun. Fires 308. Well, we definitely... It only weighs 40 pounds, huh? I mean, we'll take it because it's a minigun. And why wouldn't you? Because it's, obviously something we would generally not even use, but is interesting. We'll definitely take a Barrett clip. The M240 I don't care about, but it has that 308, which I think is a rare ammunition, so I would like to take the... Oh, 7.62. It just said 308. Did it not say 308? Yeah, it says 308. Why is it loaded with 7.62? Where's the ammo belt? 7.62. Oh, loaded with 308? Okay, I don't know guns, so don't judge me. 50 cal, we will definitely take. I don't really care about the Glock. We should be... Nope. Shouldn't be able to step here. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, turret. Why didn't I pick up the drum mag? Okay. And a SCAR I don't really care about, but again, 308 is a less common ammo, so we'll go ahead and grab the 308. And we're just going to get out of here. Once again, not really what I'm looking for. 5x50 mil. Penetrator. That sounds good, but I don't think we can safely step there. It was like here. Yeah, I would not step there. We already accidentally walked in front of it once. And because we're carrying so much stuff, our stamina is draining. So just like before, we're going to have to take breaks on our way back upstairs to regain our stamina. Oh, we should really call the episode. Okay, let's just call the episode. We'll make our return trip in the next one. So again, didn't really find what we were looking for. We were looking for, in anytime we find an armory or a barracks, what we're looking for is mostly two things. Number one, certain enemies that will give CBMs, because they will give military-specific CBMs, and those are highly, highly valuable. And then two, in the armory, at this point, I would like to find an auto shotgun. The caseless auto shotgun is one of my favorite high-damage weapons, so I would like to find that. I wouldn't mind finding some of the caseless ammunition. We're really, you can see that in spite of being an armory, all we really came out with, ammo-wise, was 45 308 rounds and the 20 308 rounds in the SCAR. Why didn't it unload the SCAR? It just put the SCAR in my inventory. I hate that. I don't know what's going on with that. And then, we came away with 50 cal, which is pretty good. But everything else, we really didn't find that much in this armory. You would expect an armory to be absolutely stacked That's the thing about the armory, is that it's not sensible. So like in a real armory, you would have like I don't know, like here would be a rack of 223 rifles, right, for the military personnel. Here you might have clips for that rifle. Here you might have sights and accessories for the rifles, right? Because obviously you don't store loaded guns. You don't, or maybe the military does. I'd have no idea. Maybe certain places you would have fully loaded guns stored. But like you would presumably, I would think, have some semblance of organization to the armory, right? You're not going to store 223 guns on the same rack as the 308 guns, as the 762 guns, as whatever. So there's no organization to the armory. It really is just a random spawn on each of these locations. And because there's no sense to it, what that often means is that you just get a complete crapshoot on what you find. When you do find things, they often aren't connected in any way to anything else you find. So you might, you would think, okay, well, let's make this armory have some semblance of normalcy. We're just going to make this entirely 223 rifles, accessories for those particular rifles, and clips for those particular rifles, right? So you would expect that to be something you would see in the armory, but really it's a completely random smattering of stuff. And there's no real sense to it. So it's a complete crapshoot on what you get, as opposed to something like the military base, where everything is neatly organized into sections that are specifically laid out the way you would find them in what I imagine a real life armory would look like. So I haven't really come away with anything super valuable from this lab yet. We have found an autoclave and autoclave pouches, but for the most part, not super thrilled with our progress here. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Sorry it was such a long one. I will be back with more tutorial content in the near future, of course. If you liked the episode, maybe leave me a comment. Tell me how dumb I am. And I'll be back with more in the near future, so I'll see you in the next episode.